didn't even speak about when someone was trying to ask him about the issues and things like that. He would not get involved. He will not do it, but racial and prejudice undertones, okay? Racial and prejudice undertones. Now, we're going to get right on into this, okay? I'm going to play you the first clip after my argument that I had with Real Talk with Roy about the 6 white racist police officers that sodomized, tortured, okay, and tried to execute 2 black men for living with a white woman and tried to make it look like a murder for hire from someone else. They're going to jail because it came to be that they did it because they found out they were living with a white woman. Racist cops. He forgot about all of that and said, well, what if they were black? And why aren't you talking about the black cops that beat up the black guy? We talk about that, just like we bringing up the ratchet black ass mayor. We don't like her. We bring us up, but you don't switch and try to cover up for the white people when they're going to jail for what we're talking about. Sodomizing, torturing, and trying to execute 2 black men to make it look like a murder for hire, and they got caught. But to say, what if they were black? Now, right after that huge argument, that he said, I don't feel like there was nothing wrong said. You got up there, you were in a hot seat. You came, you spoke. I appreciate that. You tried to clear up and say that the live went to a video when it clearly wasn't because I checked, and then you took it down, but then you put it right back up. Now, people, you are going to hear these guys use words like them, they, their, why do they, their own laws, everything. Now, what you're going to hear right now, this was on Mr. Flex's live show, Dennis, the Amazing Hustler. They were on Mr. Flex's live stream, not Roy's, not Thunder's. They were on Flex's, okay? Now, during this right here, Roy is saying, just like how I went on the Amazing Hustler, I went on Dennis's channel, and they're in there saying this, and he's talking about, I'm talking about white privilege, and he's saying, black people walking down the street, and he said, I'm tired of them saying this, so I try to hit them with the point. So they, and look at what these guys do. That's what they. Whenever you do that, that is a racial prejudicial undertone. And I'll give you a prime example. Whenever I'm going to say they, them, those guys, there, maybe that might be for neo-Nazis, skinheads, the Klan, things like that. Now, if I'm talking about militia groups, things like that, them, they, all of those people who go out there doing terroristic acts and punishing and terrorizing people doing bad things. That is them, they, and all of that. When you say them, they, those guys, why do they think like that about a certain race? That is prejudice. This is how you separate that. And I don't think you grown-ass people out there have ever even understood that. So now we're going to watch how angry they were after my argument and how they start using them, they, why do they? And then you'll hear Thunder say something like, what gives black people the right, or they want their own. You're gonna hear all of this. Then I'm gonna play you, okay? It's gonna say why hide. I'm gonna let you hear everything that was said here when they went to a channel to go voice themselves and speak up about the black stuff. None of that was done. They switched all the words out. So instead of they, them, and all that, it was you. Let me ask you, not they, them, and all of that. That lets you know that they understand they can't say that to the black person because it's going to be prejudice. That's how you know it's undertones. And these people cannot sit up here and say I'm lying because you're going to watch and hear how they sound. Real Talk with Roy, Thunder, Flex, driver's up there, but he ain't saying nothing else like that. Watch this clip. I told you guys you were on here for the second day. And they said, what do we do? Well, you're about to hear what you did. This is why this is the hot seat. You are about to hear. Let me see. Let me do it like this because I don't want to click the wrong one. And I think it's this one right here. Here we go.
Talking about we have white privilege. I asked him a question, they couldn't give me a fucking answer. He goes, being black and walking down the street without being harassed by the police. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, that's not a privilege, that's prejudice. if you're black and you're walking down the street, it's not a privilege. Because what I asked him, I said, give me an example of what privilege I have as a white man that you don't as a black man. Well, you can walk down the street without being harassed by the police. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, okay. So I said, so you're saying that no, then I asked him, so what you're telling me is that no white people ever get harassed while walking down the street? No, they do. But I say, okay, so that destroys your privilege. And you know how liberals are. Well, it's not the same amount. It's black, blah, blah, blah. No, I want to hear it. If it was a privilege to be white and walk down,
he gave percentages higher.
I know how liberals are. They're intelligent and rational.
Well, it all depends where you're walking and like you know. I mean,
no, because if you were white and we were privileged that we could walk down the street without being harassed by the police, that means no white people would ever be walking down the street getting harassed by the police. Correct?
Yeah, if that was the case.
Well,
okay. So you can't. So
when I was hitchhiking, man, there were times I've been harassed by the police for nothing. And by today, man, if I knew what I knew now back then,
it's the way they worded it.
I think they have a lot of shit would be harassing me.
Yeah,
they try to justify their bullshit
as a card, and they could walk around freely and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They try to justify by, well, it's not just to the same amount as black. It doesn't matter. If I have a special privilege,
community covering.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when I lost my shit, because they're disingenuous, bro. You can't. When I ask you a specific question and it goes against everything you just said, I don't want to hear your liberal bullshit. Well, it's little. I don't want to hear that.
It's not liberal. That's racist shit. Here's the thing there, that's not that. So you would have to say, if you think there's privilege, what right do I have that you don't have? There's no rights that a white man has in this country that a black man doesn't have. So there's no privilege there. But there are bad cops that go out there and harass black people, and that's a different story. That's not about privilege or not. It's not a privilege that I'm not being harassed. It's a problem the black person is.
It's a risk.
The cop said